listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7. The crew is in the building. My man Jay Moore, how are you, sir?
Doing well. You know, the changing weather kind of affected me a little bit.
Just
we
a tad.
go from like 70 in the day and 20 at night. You know, you're going to get that, but it's Midwest living for you.
My allergies been act up around this time of year, so I know what you mean. Hey, Lone, how are you, sir?
Doing all right, man. How are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. Love the hat.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
The Christmas story hat.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Christmas story.
Click.
Yeah, I forgot my headphones at the school, and this set of headphones does not have any padding, so now I have padding.
There you go.
This is going to be a great.
Intuitive.
Yes, very smart.
Yep.
Very smart. My man DJ Jay Diff. What's happening, man?
Salutations.
Everything good your way?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Remember when you say I'm Major 7th and I have the shirts to prove it?
Yeah. You want me to start doing it again?
No. I used to always wonder, why does the shirt prove that you're Major 7th?
Just a bad marketing tactic, man. That's all it was.
Okay.
Man.
I don't know what made me think about that, though.
I moved a couple off of it, though, if that helped. Yeah.
Oh, that's
All
cool.
right.
Because
That's the goal, ain't it? Ain't that the goal?
You balling?
No, I ain't balling. No.
Just wonder.
I'm not balling. Shout out to my man Pretty Tony in the building as well. Had an idea. I actually saw an interview with Exhibit. Exhibit's been mad. Like, he's really been mad about
Well,
rap.
no, I'm mad. I'm tell you why I'm mad.
Yeah, he said basically Exhibit was like, he's sick of hip hop and artists lack emotional investment. But I took something else from the interview because we've heard OG rappers say this. This has been like a trend at this point. But there's one line in here where he says, he's talking about hip hop's influence. He says, you see country music having elements of hip hop. You see pop music. He said, when's the last time you saw a rock band that didn't have a hip hop element in it? So he's talking about the influence of hip hop and other musical cultures. So that got me to thinking, historically, we always talk about hip hop influencing other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
But if we flip it, what has hip hop borrowed from other cultures?
Everything.
Yeah, let's see. Jazz.
Because we never
House
really,
music at
we
one
don't talk
point.
about that
Yeah.
part. We always talk about how people quote unquote culture vulture the hip hop and how hip hop pops up and everything. But I don't know if we ever run through what we've borrowed. When I say we're part of the hip hop.
The thing about it is, a lot of the genres that were borrowed for hip hop were still started by the same culture. So
I see where you're going.
at the end of the day, it's almost like a melting pot. But I mean, given certain subgenres of things have been kind of used and interpolated in hip hop, but as a whole,
There's a lot.
it's a lot.
Jay Moore, you jumped out the window like it's just everywhere.
I mean, look, when we talk about break beats, we can go back to the beginning. They were taken from jazz records, from rock records, from R&B, from disco records, and so those are the other genres of music are the building blocks of hip hop.
Funk.
Yeah.
Yep.
And okay, now hip hop is established and it's not just some subgenre that we can't look away from. Now everybody's kids, even if they wind up liking country, even if they wind up liking, straight up pop music or even Latin, like, when you hear Bad Bunny, that's hip hop.
Yeah.
I hear elements of Taylor Swift. Like, she worked with Soundwave on her last record.
Mm-hmm.
That's hip hop. When you're listening to country music,
Yes.
once that Nelly and did that joint with, was it Tim McGraw or whoever? Like, there are other people who said, wow, let's try to build on this sound without even bringing any rappers in. Like, now there is an element, the way the drums are programmed, the way it's written.
The melodies.
Sometimes there's a rap in the country song.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's establishment country that doesn't like it. But, even if you're a kid from Nashville, you grew up with G Unit and everything. Like, you
Down
grew
the
up,
street, yeah.
you grew up with. Now there's not this thing where there's this generational situation to where the people who influence genres are just afraid of hip hop, or they're like, no, that's what those black kids from the ghetto are doing over there. It's like, no, this is what everybody's doing, and it influences the music that we now we might take a little bit, might take a little bit of the Southwest, like the Texas culture. And I'm not talking about just the South and the North and Houston, but the actual Hispanic culture and creating, hip hop records. And like, what do we take? It's not really about taking at this point. It's about exchanging. We're moving back and forth between genres. And a lot of people don't get it because they came from a time when everything was very, very much segmented. But now I just think that you can't act like you don't see this over here. Even in hip hop, we can't act like we don't see the numbers some of these country music folks are doing. And they look at this.
Country music has been doing numbers.
Yeah, watch the country music. They show up with the big trucks and the shiny clothes and the jewelry. Honestly, it's a lot closer than a lot of people even want to admit.
Let me ask it this way. Is that the same thing as sampling per se, or
that's what I was actually going to talk about.
Interpolations from jazz or long said funk? That's not necessarily the same thing. Am I wrong when I say that?
Well, the thing about it is at this point, it's American culture. At the end of the day, it's been around. We're celebrating year 50. We've talked about this many times too. It's the number one genre out there, so you can't hide from it. You can't just say that you're not influenced by it. So everybody's music is probably going to have something intertwined in there that's a little hip hop. I mean, I seen a thread of about 5 black artists that are country singers now, and their whole style is hip hop infused country music for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Along with the other artists that are doing it too, but it's kind of like, well, since y'all are doing that, we're gonna come, get our little piece off of it too. Because, I mean, we like country music. We're from the country, and we represent it, and we can still represent the hip-hop part of it, too, by putting out our own stuff. So, I mean, you really can't be mad at hip-hop being a part of a lot of things. Now, as far as it being commercialized, that's a different story. If we're talking about that, then I see what he's saying, but you can't really be mad that hip-hop has influenced all these genres like that.
You got anything on that Long?
I have nothing really to add. I don't really...
we covered it.
I don't really know what to say.
Jay, more anything else on what I said in terms of comparing the two?
No? I mean, I get what you're saying. I do, but I just think
I see a difference. I see a difference in that.
The way culture is sampled now, it may not just be through a drum machine.
Right.
It's from a certain cadence and way things are said.
Yeah.
Like I said, you hear hip hop in gospel music. What do you think all that Kirk Franklin is? They've been doing that.
True. Fam was doing y'all back in like 90. What was it? Late 90s.
I don't,
It's all a big.
I don't want anybody
pot.
to get concerned about this. Like all of a sudden, well, what are they doing with this? I was like,
Lone makes a good point though with the melting pot.
Mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's all at this point. It's. I think the thing that I've been trying to wrap my head around is there any type of basis of cultural appropriation within this? Because I feel like that's like the underlining conversation we're having, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we've all basically alluded to how you can't hide from hip hop at this point. It's everywhere, and the influence is just like this is what I'm taking from our conversation is undeniable. The influence is just going to pop up by default at this point.
So is if hip hop becomes the most number one genre, which it is, and then country music is all of a sudden maybe, I don't know, not the number one genre, but then hip hop artists start to steal country to make it, I don't know, get some of that freshness in the same way that people used to steal from black culture and hip hop is, I don't know, is it?
I think that would be
but not to say that like country music is white culture and that, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the distinct difference there is that hip hop was very much so black culture.
Right.
Country music isn't.
This is a fact.
You know what I mean? And just like rock and roll was not derived from just white people.
No.
Right.
It was specifically derived from black people.
Exactly. So that's where this conversation, that's why I'm sitting over here just thinking like, I don't even know how to even, I don't know.
This is where I would, because they talk about, there's a 40% dip in hip hop as a genre as far as like its commercial viability. But I was like, well, okay, but what other places are you not counting? Because there's this hip hop country over here. Are you not counting that? Are you not counting influence hip hop has on a group like BTS? Are you not counting that because that's supposedly K-pop or just pop music? Are you discounting the influence it even has on Taylor Swift? Like
Jelly Roll started out with 3 6 Mafia.
Yeah. So,
Word?
Yes.
Yes, you didn't know that?
No,
Jelly Roll stayed in the city on somebody's tour, performing at places like the Emerson and stuff like that, and is now one of the biggest country stars.
Because Jelly Roll
that's
is
a heavy, that's a heavy set guy with the tats, right?
Yes, he's been around for a long time.
See,
Long time.
I'm asleep. I saw a clip.
39
Yeah, I saw the clip on Instagram with him saying,
or 38 or
this
something.
is
He's
the story
39.
of, and a redemption story, him being 39 and just getting nods and winning awards. I was asleep. Y'all put me on game. I was asleep on that.
Now, here's what I will say with all this being said. I still do think that it's possible for popular mainstream artists in general to see what different genres are, maybe specifically, or different cultural sects are, let's say, popping right now, and to dip within there and to exploit those. And I don't think that is necessarily, I don't think that's genre specific necessarily. But would you view that in a similar way as far as exploitation is concerned?
So just the idea of any creatives or artists dabbling into other successful.
Let's say Kanye West is super popular as a hip hop artist. Then he sees that, oh man, these guys are really popping over here doing this disco infused, I don't know, Punjabi music over here. And then that's what he starts doing. And then he becomes popular because
He becomes more popular off of that.
He dives into a different subsect, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think there might be a conversation there to some degree.
So my idea behind it is, if somebody's doing this country music, then they have had to have had some kind of early influence in their life versus just, I think I'm gonna just jump out the window and start doing country music because it's popular.
Right.
Hip hop, like people do the same thing with hip hop. They'll start out in one genre and hop over into hip hop bus and then go back to where they was at, trying to bring it back full circle. But now I think if you just do something based off it being what's popping right now, then that's
what that
culture
is.
vulture vibes to me.
No, I just, because I don't want anyone to all of a sudden jump off. They take a little of this element of hip hop and they act like they created it. That's the only part that would get me to where if, they do this and then they're like, oh no, I've never heard that music. You know what I'm saying? Like they act like they created something new, which has happened so many times in the past.
Right.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot.
I mean, just like just the whole concept of like, oh, someone's doing a cover. Like literally it's to cover up, because that's what they used to do with, like the Pat Boone situation.
Well, Tracy Chapman just won a CMA.
Yeah, because she won for Songwriter of the Year.
Songwriter of the Year based off a country music cover.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
But the original idea of covering something was to basically, okay, we got Pat Boone to do this and he's going to cover the Little Richard version, so we don't have to worry. So our, the white kids who are going to buy records don't have to worry about buying it from him. We'll get it from Pat Boone. So man, it's hard because like when you know the history of things and like why they call things a certain thing, now everyone understands. Oh, it's not a problem. They did a cover of my record, but it used to be to literally erase the original artist.
You just made me think about Dreamgirls.
Yeah,
when they were all sitting on the couch, Jennifer Hudson, Beyonce. I cannot name the other young lady's name, but they were sitting on the couch and their record pops up and somebody else is singing it.
Yeah,
doing a cover.
Yeah,
right. That's
Anika
crazy.
Noni Rose. That was it.
Yes, that's her name. Yes,
but I mean, like they probably got a piece of from there. But like when. Even in the 5 Heartbeats, they had the guys the 5 Horsemen come in and re-sing their song.
That was corny too when they did the remake.
I mean, but that's basically what happened.
You remember when they presented them with the album cover and had the white family on the beach.
That's Motown used to do that.
Yeah,
Motown
that's crazy.
They never put pictures of their artists on, because it was like, oh, if we put black faces on it, we'll only get black people to buy it.
Yeah.
But you see the video where they seen how do foes fall in love? Dude?
Frankie Lyman.
Frankie Lyman. You see the video where he came out and performed, and they didn't know it was a black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was looking at him all crazy.
When they pan into the crowd, everybody is just shocked. Nobody's moving.
Yeah, nobody wants to be caught, clapping and enjoying.
Yeah.
And everybody in the audience loved that record prior to seeing him come out.
Yep.
Man,
it was a wild time back then.
Yeah.
Seems normal. For the time.
Yeah.
Definitely for the time.
That's what they be talking about when they say make America great again.
Yeah, they want to go back.
Let me enjoy
try to go back to that.
Let me enjoy these black artists that I don't know.
Yeah.
Making this mysterious music.
Yeah.
These race records.
Race records. Man, that's game, Jay Moore, with the cover. Your third eye was open on the cover.
I mean, like that's the
concept,
thing when you really start looking into why we say the things we do.
Sound real
and when
woke
you
when you
realize
said that.
there is a racial connotation to so many things that are just threaded into American.
Like everything.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to escape. So
They hate when you say it's the American way, when it's literally what built this country.
That's tough.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Shout out to everybody gonna have these hard conversations next week at their Thanksgiving table.
Make America great again.
I don't want no turkey. So the pressed meat you got on this table.
I have no idea what this is a reference to.
Booty noodles.
You said an oppressed turkey?
Oppressed meat.
Oh, oppressed. I thought you said
Oppressed.
pressed. I was like,
Nah.
what is pressed turkey?
Nah, pressed meat.
Oppressed meat.
Oppressed is definitely better.
Yeah. And booty
I bet not hear
noodles.
anybody be. I bet
In
not
here
be around
celebrating this
anybody.
white man holiday.
Yeah.
I bet not be around anybody on
Y'all
Thanksgiving
loving
that says
the
oppressed
scraps
meat.
they used to give us, and y'all still eat.
Hey, man, you know how many Native Americans we had to kill to have this holiday?
Man.
Is that too dark? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, sometimes the truth hurts.
Adult
That's
Swim.
right. You know, and you going out shopping on Black Friday. You know what that is.
Man, that story is wild and untrue. Whatever Hotep came up with that.
And the thing is, there were people who should know better. Who were like reposting
They
that
was
story.
man, they was living off of that for a minute.
I don't know
Every
what's-
year.
Did I miss that one?
Just wait till next week. Somebody's gonna post it
Yeah.
and think it's gospel.
So there's a Hotep about Black Friday.
That Black Friday, that's the day that like the slaves were half off.
Yeah.
It's like, dog, first
Really?
Yeah, it's absolutely not the
Okay,
truth.
first of all, and I hate to like we're gonna go deep. It was after the harvest, so you're not gonna, so we're not gonna do that. Second of all, it's about that's when most
Money.
major corporations finally find themselves in the black because of all the
Exactly.
money that's been spent.
Instead of being in the red.
Red, yes.
So now they're finally kind of breaking even and starting to see that profit. That's what Black Friday is about. It's not about
So how do you know that slave owners didn't have the same type of economical things going on?
That's where it came from.
Really?
Where people were like, yeah, you know what? I know what Black Friday is really about.
yeah.
Well, you learn something every day.
Look,
now I know.
I can't wait to see this because it's going to pop up on my timeline.
I was
know
just
it will.
joking one time where I said, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is actually about the black athlete in America.
He is.
Because basically, before
It's about Jackie Robinson.
until
Oh my God, man.
deemed useful, things that are not of the norm are seen as something that we should shun. And so, as soon as Rudolph, as soon as they couldn't see their way on Christmas night, hey Rudolph, come over. We'll let you play some reindeer games. And that's how you Negroes have been much through this time in America, coming over just
Not
playing
the Ben Affleck.
playing the white man's reindeer games.
I don't know.
Come on,
Some
Hank.
folks out there talking about cut the check.
Yo, I feel like there's a sector of America that you just pissed off. So we'll see how that goes in the
Okay,
comments, brother.
yeah.
And people take stuff as gospel, man.
You start breaking it down, and then it's like, man,
That Rudolph is going to bother somebody. That's
really,
going to
here-
bother somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You
Black folk.
line that up with how there wasn't no black players in the SEC up until 1968.
Somebody is going to
I'm
see.
telling you.
Somebody's going to see you at coaches and be like, "Look at Jay Moore up there playing the reindeer game
Man's
with the white DJ behind him."
telling you,
Bruh.
some of y'all just playing the reindeer games. You don't even know it until they call your Rudolph ass up somewhere.
Matter of fact, me, you, and Terry, people might say we're playing the reindeer games because Lona's on the show. They
You're
might
going
say
a
we
little
playing the
too far.
reindeer.
Yeah, I
They
don't
might.
think so.
But maybe you are. Why else would I wear this hat?
Because it's Christmas time, and what's Ralphie about to kick your ass?
I got
That
him.
damn hat on.
Maybe. This is foreshadowing.
Oh my God,
That's
man.
right, Rudolph. They ain't had no time for Rudolph. He was off with with the other misfit individuals. Like,
See, now you
like
got
the,
it.
the elf. You know what I'm saying? And the elf. You know what his problem was? He didn't want to accept what society was going to give him and say that he had to make toys. He wanted to be a dentist. He wanted better for
Couldn't be
himself
no
and his
dentist with them ears.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, there's probably somebody who's like, "Oh, how dare you want to be a dentist with that black skin?" See, that's you got to understand. These things all tie together.
So the elves are black now.
Come on, just standard workers, part of the cogs that drive this capitalist machine, and he decided he wants to do something different. Oh, yeah, you got to
That's
understand.
the
These are all
elves, huh?
allegories to the civil rights movement.
I mean, it is if we're talking about specifically the Christmas stories, but then we cross over universes into Lord of the Rings, it is very interesting how the white elves are different from the black orcs and how they demonstrate those in the dark and the light.
I mean,
Hey,
Notice how the orcs are born from slop.
he might be preaching, Jay Moore. He
I
might.
ain't going, man.
I'm not going to interrupt him when he's flowing straight from the survival scrolls.
You know
I'm just
what?
saying.
Terry made a good point.
You about to
I
ruin this
love
for
the
me.
Lord of the Rings. You are not about to mess up the
ruin
Lord of
this
the
for
Rings.
No, because when I brought up, when we did this with Ninja Turtles, you'd be like, oh, man.
Nah, man, because you
That
gotta
bothers me.
remember old Willie Baggins, man. There was a black hobbit.
Willie Baggins.
And his name was Willie.
Yes. You ain't seen the story of Willie Baggins?
Yeah, they call him Willie Dynamite.
No, that's not him. Look up the Black Hobbit.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Look,
Yeah.
you got to understand, they do a lot of things on the low. Not even on the low. Remember the show Silverhawks back in the day? There was one
that
black.
was a good one.
Yeah, there was one black Silverhawk. You know what his name was? Hot Wing.
See,
Now that I'm with you on that. Now that's woke. I'm with you on
Are
that.
you saying
Hot
that's
Wing.
That's disrespectful.
reference to
woke. That was a
chicken?
joke. That wasn't woke. That was
Nah.
a joke. Nah.
And he did
what was
magic
crazy?
tricks.
What was crazy was the crows on
Dumbo.
Dumbo?
yeah.
Now that, sir.
Yeah, that was
One of
It's
his
unacceptable.
One of his name was actually Jim Crow. I said,
Yeah,
ain't this
man.
about
yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
and like, and they tried to do the real effective, like Africa. They'd be like, well, I be done seen about everything till I seen an elephant fly. And these are all white guys.
Yeah.
Hey, bruh.
There's
Shucking and jiving.
Shucking it. I be done seen
Be done seen.
about everything. Jay Moore.
You're actually
Check it out on Disney Plus.
White people can say everything too.
I don't think it's on there no more.
Sorry.
man.
No, it's on there.
No, it's
Is
still
it?
on there.
Song of the South ain't on
I
there.
know. That's like, you let Song of the South, like, you be like, oh, we ashamed of this one. I'd be like, what about all this other stuff you
Yeah.
should be ashamed
Keep
of?
the crows, though.
Keep the
that.
crows. Keep the.
Hey, Jimmy,
yeah.
you see that elephant down there?
I bet he can fly.
Yo.
Same thing they did with Transformers. They tried to do a new version of them damn crows from Dumbo
I used to
on that Transformer
love
movie.
Dumbo.
Dumbo's a classic
When
cartoon.
I used to go to my grandmother's house, she used to put that movie on for me. I used to watch
That's
that.
a classic cartoon. Classic Disney film.
And yeah, until you get into
I always
finding-
thought the crows were black.
Did you? That's what they were going for.
But
They
that's,
did a good job.
but
Why
that-
you say
but-
did you like
But the
that?
thing is, that's how Hollywood worked then.
What kind of minstrel shows going on
Exactly.
Man.
It's just like, we're gonna do this real racial part of the animated movie, but let's just hire white guys to do
if
the
you
black
want
voices.
we've talked about this in the past, but the disrespectful 50s, those cartoons in the 60s, like the 60s, what was that
you
era?
Go back earlier than that.
Is it earlier
like
than that?
40s.
40s,
The
50s?
40s, where the way they would portray
Man.
like Japanese people
Oh
during
my
the war.
God, bro.
But even when you get to the 70s,
Even the movies,
with,
even
with
the
the
regular
Aristocats,
movies, yeah.
there's a
Aristocats.
Siamese cat, and at one point, like
Come on, man.
a symbol falls on his head,
yeah.
and they're singing a song, and when they get over to the cat who's on some Asian stuff, exactly, they go ching chong ching ching ching. I was like, this is wild.
I loved Aristocrats too.
I bet you did.
Yeah,
Aristocats, I'm sorry. I loved that as a kid.
we just
You
thought
were
it was
conditioned.
Yeah.
Was I conditioned?
Even your conditioning didn't know that it was conditioned.
The Dr. Umar was cooking on Art of Dialogue.
fun. Okay,
Actually made a good point.
did he?
Yeah, he did. You know, I fool with Dr. Umar when he's in his bag and he's making sense. He'll veer off the path a little bit. He'll circle back home.
You know, mess around and say the wrong word about the Prince of Pan Africanism.
Yeah, and he makes sure that y'all know that and that he's kin to Frederick Douglass. He's going to make sure that you say that in every interview. But he brought up a good point when he said, why is it that during the celebration of the hip hop's 50th anniversary, there are no conversations about how detrimental hip hop music has been to black culture and the ramifications that have come from it, the negative influence over the past 50 years. He said everything is positive from a celebratory standpoint. All these big concerts, shows, but there's been no dialogues, no forums about things on the opposite side. Hip hop's influence over the past 50 years.
Because that's not what you do with somebody on their birthday.
That doesn't mean we can't talk about it though.
I mean, but just imagine if it was my 50th birthday, and there was somebody that came up and be like, "Remember that one time you stole the Jello from? Remember that time
From
remember that
MCL?
time- Remember, from MCL. Remember that time you went to jail for? Like, don't bring that up on my birthday." And plus, we have had these conversations because, like part of
You've seen forums about this?
I feel like part of, all these documentaries, they don't just gloss over and say everything's been all good. Look, even in the documentary that we were not credited for, the lady's first situation.
Which one? The first one? Oh, sorry. There's two. Yeah. Sorry.
They still don't shy away from the misogyny and some of the hurtful ways in which men have treated women, not only in the industry but through the actual art. I think that we've had those discussions.
I think Dr. Umar,
we're just not going to get it. Why am I going during hip hop's 50th anniversary going to gather a bunch of people into a room and say this is why hip hop stinks and this is all the things we've done wrong? Why would I even go to that? I'm here to celebrate this culture, and I understand it's not perfect.
Make it better.
To make it better
is a good argument.
But at the same time, like, we've had these I feel like we've had these conversations during the course of this 50-year celebration. Maybe it's just because Dr. Umar has not been at center of them, and maybe they didn't call him and so he could say these things. But I feel like we've had these conversations.
I think Dr. Umar is coming from the standpoint of the heavy dialogue panel type discussions. It could be pros and cons of hip hop or whatever, but
I'm sure these are happening on college campuses around the whole United States.
Could be.
Yeah,
we've had conversations about it.
We have, but
So I don't think it stops at us though. We've had those conversations.
Yeah.
He actually also mentioned that rappers who are of age now, who have become older, live in gated communities. The kids go to private schools.
As they should.
And they still rap about the things that they came from, yet they've moved out of the situation that they came from. Now, contradictory that is.
No, it's not. We've had that conversation too, because it goes back to he really
was standing on that one.
You don't say that about people that write movies. These rich people that write these movies about crime and all this, that, and the other. You don't say that to them while they live in their gated communities. But I can't keep telling you my story behind my gates.
Does everybody that writes a movie about crime come from crime? I wouldn't say so.
Well, they can say it was part of their influence. Like Martin Scorsese has done how many movies about the mob?
Come on, man.
And no one says, no one, now he's done other movies since then, but no one says, oh, geez, another mob story.
Right.
Sure they do.
So it's
they applaud it. They can't wait for another one.
Yeah. In fact, they get mad at Martin Scorsese when, he does something that is not mob related or something that involves crime.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a one-of-one comparison. I don't think so. I don't think it's that.
Well, it's not a one-of-one, but it's very similar. It's from the same vein, because if I'm talking about what I've been through, if I'm talking about it in the past tense, not saying that I'm still doing this stuff, I'm still literally telling my story, right?
I think a better comparison would be another music genre as opposed to movies.
Okay, so let's talk about, since we've been talking about country, people are upset because the wife and dog left. How many wives and dogs have left them?
I don't think situationally. I think the wife and the dog can leave even if you've had a pretty good life.
And how many bottles of whiskey and beer can I drink?
If you're already an alcoholic, it stays with you for life.
But what if I live in a gated community? I don't get to do this stuff anymore?
You can still do it, but you still talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Which is your argument, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got lost in the metaphors.
I mean, I like where he was going with the conversation. You can have it, right? I'm not saying rain on the parade. He didn't come off like that, but he just found it odd that there have not been that many discussions.
I mean, this is Dr. Umar, though.
So he was just being extra.
He says things to get a rise. He wants to get a rise.
There has to be somebody that is just always miserable that has to outline these things. I honestly don't even mean that in a negative way.
No, I see where you're going.
But it's just like somebody that's going to always highlight the detriment of what's going on everywhere. And that's just his role. That's what he does. And I wouldn't expect anything different from him. So, I mean, I'm sure he cares very much about what I have to say.
He should maybe make a class at his school.
Yeah.
About this.
Yeah, his school.
That people come check out.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's a valid conversation.
That's all I'm saying.
But
it can be talked about.
But at the same time, I think I gotta agree with Jay
Moore.
Like, we're not gonna. This isn't the greatest hits of all the bad things that happened on your birthday. You know what I mean? Like, and we are a part of hip hop culture.
Right.
And we talk about this stuff every week.
We do.
You know what I mean? And there are other people that talk about it every week. It's not like it goes away. It's a constant thing. Whenever something happens, we talk about it further. I think you can do both. I think you can talk about the great things and also talk, highlight the negative things when they occur, but you don't want to dwell on them at the same time.
Especially not on my birthday.
I mean, exactly.
I want my cake
I want my cake.
Yeah, I like cake. So
and ice cream.
I like both, but it's one of those things. I think there's some validity to what he's saying, but at the same time, I think
tying it into
the
50th 50th anniversary conversation maybe is the part that's the part that's not adding up.
It's like he's running with the maybe he's not running with the idea that it's not happening. I think what he wants, based upon what you have said, is he wants intentionality behind these things. Like we have these hip hop celebrations, these concerts, these tours. Where is the intentionality in hip hop that is going behind and saying, all right, cool, here are also the negative effects. Let's do a recap and let's see if we can figure out how to attack these things.
Right.
I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that at all. To be honest, I don't think that one constitutes, like, I don't think you make that argument against each other like that.
No, but I don't think it's not happening already though. Candace Owens had a host, and I don't agree with her a lot of times. I mean, everything she said about that situation, I was clapping my hands.
I mean, broken clock is right twice a day.
There you go.
That was one of those days.
And it was definitely one of those days because, I mean, these conversations are being had. It's just not why, like Jay said, on the 50th birthday or something, why should that be the only thing that we're talking about? We're pointing the stuff out as it comes out.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I like what Lone.
I think hip hop since its inception has always been criticized loudly by people in halls of power who have no actual care about the people who in the culture that it comes from. Like I said, from people within the culture who may have grown up and now they see things differently. Shout out to D1, who has been very vocal lately and has made a lot of sense. And I'm glad. I'm always clapping with somebody from inside the culture who has certain criticism because it does come from a place of love.
Right.
I even though I talked about this, how like C. Dolores Tucker, Reverend Calvin Butts, we're both very critical of hip hop, but. Yeah. It came, like I said, it came from a different place where was what they said wrong, but it didn't come from. I didn't come from the place of love that I would like to see.
That's the Candace Owens effect. She's not coming from place of love.
Yeah.
On this particular instance, she was.
I think I have
from.
to.
I watched
agree with
it.
Terry because
I watched it.
There is something in this one case because
I don't think she ever does. I think she's a 100% grifter.
I
all
think
the time.
right here we were talking about a child. When she has these other criticisms specifically
but she doesn't
of
care
black
about
people,
children.
she doesn't care about.
Lone, I think this was a one-off. I only like Candace
This particular
but I think this was
segment was coming from a good place.
I think this is a one-off, bro.
Like I said,
I don't think so. And I haven't even seen it because she's never right.
But yeah, I forget what I was even saying. But I'm just saying, like with hip hop, I mean, I know what I'm saying now because. Hip hop has always been so open for criticism from the mainstream media, from the media within hip hop, from feminist media. Everything has always been something to try to tear down hip hop. Not even tear down, but just criticize and sometimes give criticism that, once I say again, comes from a place of love. So during the 50th anniversary, look, can we take a break and just celebrate the good things and the way it's brought us all together?
Yeah.
No.
Considering all 50 years leading up to it, there's been something that happened to where there was somebody who decided they were going to make a name for themselves being critical of hip hop or creating, whether it be the respectability politics of the 80s, the anti-gangster, ism, if you will, of the 90s, the part where it's like we were complaining about the misogyny in the 2000s, when BET and Cut comes along. Once again, we have a timeline of criticism for hip hop.
For every single thing in the entire existence of the world is like that as well, too. I don't think it gets excluded.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, I completely understand why people want to, once the July 4th comes around, I understand why people want to be critical of America because it's like we didn't get here with just clean hands.
It's a good time to talk about it, I think, is for a lot of people. Because, I mean, let's be real. We are a people, and I don't just mean Americans, but I just mean in general, we're a modern people that the stuff that we talk about now that takes our attention is what's right in front of our face because there's just so much information all the time. So it's like, okay, hip hop's 50th. This is a time for me to, I have a little bit of spotlight to talk about whatever I want to talk about on this particular instance, whatever this is. But that's kind of how it is with everything right now. No matter what, like Sure. We may not have any different feelings towards Kanye West than what we had the last time we talked about him, but we haven't talked about him at all because he hasn't come up in the news.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If he comes up in the news and it's something supremely relevant to what we're talking about, then we're going to bring that back, but we're not talking about it because it's not something to talk about because there's so many other things to talk about. I'm just making a side point. I agree with you guys are saying, except for the Candace Owens things. I don't think she's a good actor in anything.
Good actor.
Yeah, she's a grifter. There's an angle.
Oh no,
there's an angle. There's an angle. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
if I study this, there's
always an angle.
There's always an angle.
There's always an angle.
Always an angle. But
I had to give her a flower. I gave her a flower on that.
I know there's an angle because once again, this is one thing, and Candace Owens has been a part of public discussion for a couple of decades now. Maybe not that long. I don't know. It seems like you've been around for way too long, but.
Not that long. About 5 years.
Oh, that's
longer than that, ain't it?
No, it's long. Yeah, but
it's longer than that, ain't it?
Not really. Candace Owens?
Yeah, it got to be longer than 5 years long.
No.
5 years is done gone. 5 years
since like Trump. Maybe a decade.
I remember Candace Owens talking crazy before Trump even showed up on the scene politically.
Yeah, it got to be longer
I'm
than 5.
going to Google
bro.
this because she hasn't been relevant until recently.
Once again, relevant is different. You know, Tammy Laren at one time was relevant.
You're around the same time, though. Yeah.
I'm gonna say over 5 long.
And plus,
it's definitely over 5.
And plus, you can always, you can,
it's irrelevant.
One of the quickest way to get into some sort of media space now is if you're a black person willing to talk bad about black people.
There you go.
Yep. See Jason Whitlock.
Hold on. Did
Stacey Dash tried it.
She tried, yeah, because she was like, you know what? I have to get behind about 50 other people if I want to be. Let me go ahead and start. I'll be one of the Republican spokespeople.
There you go.
I'll be able to get on and people will talk about me. And then, like, once they had no more use for her, we haven't heard from Stacey Dash since.
Ain't heard from her since. That's facts.
Not till she said she didn't know that DMX had passed with her dumb ass.
Yeah.
That was stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah, real stupid.
That was stupid.
But,
all right.
You know.
She was born in 1989, so it hasn't.
She's a Swiftie.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Yeah, I see what you did.
I mean,
it says 2018, but I remember her before that. But then again, I pay more attention than most people do.
But also,
I would agree.
yeah, but also it's like I also remember seeing an interview because like she always was on the other side of oh no. Affirmative action, that is bad, it's bad. But then, like when she needed some help, you can go into her history. Like she voted for President Obama, I believe, twice. But like there was no money on that side.
It was Trump era after.
Trump era.
No money on that side.
All this stuff. The story about
shout out to Tim Scott who rented a white woman for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, to only drop out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's stay on Tim Scott because.
Okay.
Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Printfinity is a screen printing shop based in Indianapolis, owned and operated by our own DJ Jay Diff. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member for as little as $3 a month. All details on newoldheads.com. Well, we're back at the New Old Heads, and we appreciate you being back at the New Old Heads and being here with us.
It's an old-timey radio voice. It's like,
I don't know what that was.
Let's go.
Make sure you drink your Ovaltine.
He's fitting the whole description of Christmas Story, man. I'm telling you.
100%, bro.
Sitting there with your little, what was it, the Dick Tracy little decoder pen? Not Dick Tracy, who was it? Little Orphan Annie.
Yeah. Captain Midnight.
My decoder pen.
Drink
Classic.
your Ovaltine.
Let's go check the checklist route. I want to try the checklist route. Follow me on this one. What would be the ultimate checklist if you're building a successful hip hop artist in 2023? What are some of the elements that you need to be a successful artist in 2023 if we were building a checklist?
Inability to read.
Come on, man.
Lack of knowledge of current events.
Come on, man.
Good ear for music.
You gotta give me 5. Come on, man. I need 5.
Following on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
And
we got to come up with 5.
criminal record. There we go. We got 5.
You don't need a criminal record, but you need to be able to portray yourself as having a criminal record.
You know what? That actually might.
Yeah, I wasn't being facetious when I said these.
I know you were serious. I like Terry's though. Terry said Twitter. What'd you say?
The Instagram and TikTok following.
Just need a following.
Okay, so that if we were to do 5, following on social media would be number 1, right?
Yeah, you have to call yourself an influencer.
Call
You
yourself.
don't have to.
You don't have
You don't
to,
think
but,
you have to
but
do
it
that?
would be. It would help. It would help.
Calling yourself an influencer. You think that's a necessity?
Not
No, it's
Not
just,
necessarily
it's
a
just being, it's just
necessity.
being one.
Just
but
being
it,
one.
but it
Okay.
would help.
So the social media following, being an influencer, we'll call it. Those are the first two. We got 3 slots left on the checklist for what we think a successful artist would be in 2023. I like the first two because I think these are
Being likable, being generally likable, and or
Messy.
So the controversial. So it's the ability to be able to either have a lot of people to like you and hate you at the same time.
Polarizing.
Polarizing. Thank you for the word. Yes.
Polarizing.
You have to be polarizing.
Krishan Rock. Y'all see what she did lately?
I don't care.
Yeah.
No, I'm
It
just saying.
kind of
I-
has something to do with that.
I'm sure it does. That's why.
So-
yeah.
For some odd reason, what's the Braxton girl?
Tamar.
Tony.
Tamar invited Krishan Rock to her concert. Krishan Rock acted a fool and hit somebody in the face or something like that because she didn't get to open or perform at the Tamar Braxton concert.
She's a performer. I just thought she was somebody's baby mom.
Man, listen.
I literally
I don't
thought
understand why everybody thinks that they're supposed to be an artist.
So I think that's number 4 would be delusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
number 4 is delusion.
Delusion.
Yeah.
Why do you say
You have
delusion?
to have a certain level of delusion that you actually matter.
Yeah.
Oh, so in your mind, nobody can tell you that you don't matter.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where we cue in Krishan Rock.
Because
Because she really thinks she out here getting it. She had a little segment afterwards talking about, I've already had 1 hit and I'm gonna just keep hitting them with more hits and more hits and more hits.
Yeah, that's delusion.
I'm like, for real?
That is delusion.
This is where we at?
yes,
So social
She
media
from Baltimore too. Shout out to the Wire.
Baltimore.
that is how they talk. Social
Not
media
quite, but
it's close. Social media following.
I'm the worst at every accent.
So,
Like my British accents sound like Australian. So
social media following, being an influencer, you have to be polarizing, you have to be delusional to some extent. There's 1 slot left.
I feel like we're missing one.
Are we
I mean, big social media,
I think that's a big one, Lone.
big social media and influencer are the same thing. That's the same thing.
All right. Okay, so we need 2 more.
Yeah,
Cuz I like you we'll group those in.
big social media following,
/ influence,
delusion,
polarizing.
and polarizing.
So there's 3 there's 2.
messy.
I think to the messy point, I think it would probably be just
Messi is successful.
yeah, but not everybody that is successful is messy. Just a lot of the people
Hype
are.
beast.
It's similar to the hype piece is what I'm thinking. It's like having that's what I'm thinking. It's just not caring, but that goes into the delusion. You know what I mean?
Because if you're delusional, you don't care what anybody says. Yeah. So
Any type of musical acumen at all is not relevant.
no, that's the last thing that's on the book. That would be the last thing required. Musical knowledge, acumen. You don't need that.
I don't even know if it's that many things. Maybe it's only like 3 or 4 things.
I threw out 5 just for like just normal checklist type stuff, but we have 3 great ones with the social media / influencer, polarizing, and delusional. I don't know.
Somewhere in there, like the want to be famous, is that different or is that kind of the same?
I think that
Is that the social media
That
thing?
kind of goes
That
with
is
the
it.
social media because that's how it usually starts. Is I'm trying to be very popular. I want people to like me. I want people to follow me, and then that turns into I feel like I can rap.
Yep.
And for some reason, everybody always leans towards rapping.
Yes.
It be trash as hell,
Yep.
and they still think they're making hits.
Yeah, I think that is mixed with delusion as well.
Mm-hmm.
Delusion is
We
a
got-
big one.
We got 3 strong ones that I think that we all agree on.
And I think probably the one is just network.
Personality
Oh, that was the other
or
one.
lack thereof.
I don't
look.
think
You got to have the look, guys.
The look.
I like the look. I like look.
Yeah.
We'll put look on there.
Yeah, the look.
I like look.
Because that kind of goes into the polarization, what you just said.
Yeah, I like look. So social media following, / influence, your look, be polarizing, be delusional, and if there was one more we could squeeze in there, just a starter kit that we're thinking.
Everything goes back to being delusional. I was about to say, talking about how much money you got.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that kind of falls into the delusion a little
I think
bit.
maybe the ability to lean into everything.
The ability to lean into everything.
Like the ability to lean in the fact of all this even more. Once people come out and are like, nah, this person is trash or this person is whatever, just to be able to like
embrace that.
embrace it like to the 10th power.
Like, just don't care.
Yeah, like not
Like,
caring.
okay, I'm
So maybe
going to
that
be
goes into
who
no
you
care.
say I am.
Yeah, it's like
That's what works.
wanting to be the villain.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these artists, they hear that. Obviously, they see the comments or whatever. Some of them feed, to Lone's point, some of them feed off that. They draw off that. And,
Well, it's
and
because
they get stronger with more hate,
They want
more.
you to talk about them as long as
Exactly.
you talk about them.
They know that as long as there's talk,
Yeah.
then that's
Okay.
You know,
So how about this? Maybe we do the fifth one is the ability to clout chase.
No, because they think that everybody's clout chasing them.
But
It
what-
goes back to the delusion.
But wouldn't you want to be a clout
It's
chaser to
funny
become
because
more popular?
Krishan Rock literally brought that up when she was talking about somebody trying to get clout off her. Like, Tamar Braxton needs clout from Krishan Rock.
Oh,
I think it's just the ability to lean into it. I think that's just that would be my vote. Is just ability
For the
to
last
lean
one?
into it as
To
without
own it?
to own it,
the ability to own it.
to own it, and just let it be.
Whatever.
What you think, Jay? You good with the ability to own it for the last one, or is there anything else that
Look,
you think we may have missed?
No, I think, because we have to.
We got a strong four.
Person just came out of nowhere and started swinging on everybody. When we talk about Sexy Red, she has just leaned into everything.
All the way.
Anything, whatever criticism you have of her,
She don't care at all.
she's just going to be more of that.
Yeah,
It's like she draws off the energy.
she gets stronger with it. Yeah,
So,
that's
Like
true.
a gremlin after midnight.
now she's just,
Don't give it water
she's literally just going to be.
or food.
Man, they didn't watered her. You got a little pod
She's getting
growing.
water.
So like now she's just gonna be on stage, pregnant, twerking with no shoes on. Like, you think anything we have to say is going to stop her? She leans into the
Absolutely
criticism.
not. She can't wait.
Yeah.
I think that's the one, Lone. Being able to lean into it, embrace.
This is the worst segment ever.
Okay.
No, I mean only just.
Oh, I see what you're
You know
going.
what I mean?
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Because you're like, this is all true and it's all depressing.
Or you
Yeah,
put
it's
it,
depressing.
haters. They need haters.
Well,
Haters are a part of it.
Yeah.
but that's part of the taking the good with the bad and the delusion.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we actually nailed it. If you go back and look at it, social media, polarizing, got to be somewhat delusional and be able to lean into any type of criticism, attention that comes with you and embrace it. Sounds like a successful kit to me.
Sounds just like a celebrity. Sounds nothing like a musician, right?
That's what I was about to say. No musical talent is needed.
Not at all.
Isn't that crazy that out of all of this,
Shout out to Milli Vanilli.
all of us know in our hearts that the part about the music is not necessary.
No.
We all know that is not necessary in this kit that we're talking about for the checklist. You don't have to know anything about anything musical at all, and you can be extremely successful in 2023. And it's
Now, granted,
what you got.
not everybody can accomplish all these 5 feats.
Well, if everything lines up, though, you get Sexy Reds. You
Gotta get all the jewels, man. You gotta.
If you can get all 5 of these, if you can get all
get all
5
the
of these stones, these infinity stones, you good.
Look, and sometimes it just,
Name of the segment is the 5 keys to success.
yeah.
In the music industry.
Because think about what's his name, kid from New Jersey's in jail right now.
New Jersey in jail.
That could be that. You got to narrow it down better than that. That could be my cousin.
Trap
I don't
Queen. What was it?
Fetty Wap.
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Hi, guy.
That guy,
Hi,
like,
guy.
Trap Queen had been out for almost a year before someone said, hey, check this out. And then he couldn't. There was a quick moment where Fetty Wap couldn't be stopped. He was as
Yeah.
big as anybody.
Oh, he was
in hip-hop.
everywhere. Facts.
He was
Facts.
everywhere.
And now he's somewhere now.
That's Fetty Wap, Mom.
Yeah, it is.
Got the soda.
Ooh. He's got a cool voice. I'll give him that.
Hey, Fetty Wap, he had a run though.
He did.
He had a run. I ain't gonna hold you.
He fumbled.
And he had a lot of OGs he's from New Jersey, correct? Right. We
That's
just
what
talked
he
about
had
that.
said, man.
He had said that. But he had some
You're
OGs.
like, New Jersey jail. You got to narrow it down.
He had some OGs come out behind him, man. Tretch and them was behind. Val heard Tretch be like, yeah, man, he got it. I think Latifah might have said something.
Got it. You got it, man.
Man, if you notice, anytime anybody from any region comes out and is gaining any kind of steam or popularity, whoever's from there always say they got
Always cosign.
Is that bad?
Well,
Always.
yeah,
yes.
after I've already got
Is
3
that-
joints out, yeah, you're going to say, yeah, you got it.
Let me ask you guys this, and since you brought that up,
It's a whole nother conversation, but yes.
has there ever been an instance where you've seen the opposite? Where somebody comes from a region and there's an OG or somebody that's like, good luck, kid, but that ain't it.
Look, I'm just going to say it. There are times where I see certain artists in Indianapolis bubble a little bit. I'm like, not them. Maybe it's hating. That's okay.
Or you could just have your own opinion.
Yeah, you can still have your own opinion, but I'm just kind of like, not that.
I don't know if I've seen an example of the opposite though on a major platform where somebody says,
Man, they're great.
Where OG comes out and is like, it ain't for me, but I'm happy for them coming from the area or whatever. Because usually, to y'all point, whenever somebody comes from a region, the OGs are gonna be like, yeah, man, that young boy doing his thing, knowing the music
like everybody
trash.
from New York then got beyond Scarlett.
Right.
It's good for the local economy. It comes down to capitalism.
Yeah.
So, but it's
And you right about that, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
She popping up everywhere. OG features. I think it was a Buster, somebody else. She getting them features. She getting the looks. She can rap. She can rap though.
I mean, we'll see.
She can rap.
Because remember at one point everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Young M.A. da."
True.
Like
True.
Because once you don't hit, you can't pick up the phone and talk to them same people.
Nah. So it's either you capitalize off of us kind of giving you a little push because everybody else is, but after that everybody be like, all right, it didn't work out.
Because the industry, none of these people are your friends.
So what y'all are telling me is once that window is closed, from all the gas that we gave you, it's a wrap.
No more features for you.
No.
You can be like, "Hey, Buster," and it's like, "Why is his phone number doesn't work?" You know what I'm saying? Like it just, you'll wake up and nobody's asking you to do anything. And
I saw Young M.A. handing out $100 bills yesterday in a video.
Word?
Young M.A. was looking kind of crippled.
No, I didn't see that.
Something happened to her?
Some did.
Like,
Don't
Like
do
World War
that.
did she have World War II crutches?
She was in bad shape. She was riding around in one of them
rascals.
yeah, like she had lost a whole bunch of weight.
She ain't sick, is she?
I don't know. She was
That's
drinking,
not-
drinking a lot of them Hennessy bottles.
That'll do it.
Okay.
Want to do hood rat things with her friends. Dylan.
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 Dylan the Dillinger. That's what.
Would y'all have walked to buy that cheesecake for Diddy?
I don't know.
Across that bridge?
Pretty Tony's over there like, nah,
the
I ain't
cold.
going.
In my younger days, if I thought it was going to lead to something,
Probably.
I'd have done it.
I'm not gonna hold you, Terry, and I'm gonna speak for my brother here. Sloan and I were in that situation. I think we walked.
Look, you're talking to somebody who drove all the way to New Orleans once because we thought that there was like a label deal down there for us.
Yeah.
Slept in a car. You know, it was like one of those type of things. And we were
that
like,
story is really,
this-
there's
I was
awful
like,
parts of that story.
I was like, oh, this is not it.
Yeah.
So, but
I remember that.
you know, you're young, you don't know any better.
You don't know no better.
And you're
But-
adventurous.
Yeah, why not? I had never
No.
been to New Orleans before, or not New Orleans, Louisiana, but
We walking though. I know me alone walking.
yeah, I probably walk.
Okay. Going to junior.
Don't mean I'm gonna be happy about it.
Enjoy that cheesecake.
Yeah.
Ness got his own cheesecake brand now too.
Brilliant flip of the whole story. He's brilliant for that. Lil Yachty may have gone from zero to hero, and I'm gonna tell you why. Fam has grown up, I guess, or has come full circle.
He was a kid.
He was a kid, but now he is saying that hip hop is in a terrible place. The state of hip hop right now is at a lot of imitation. So there's a lot of imitation. We hear that all the time. We've heard OGs say that, but I didn't think Lil Yachty would be a person that would pop out and say hip hop is in a terrible place. He says it's a lot less risk taking, a lot less originality. People are too safe now. Everyone is so safe. He said, I'd rather take a risk than take an L. Are you guys surprised to hear that coming from Lil Yachty?
No.
You're not? Why?
Mm-mm.
Hey, when you get to I don't care, whenever you get to reach a certain level of maturity, and maybe what you're, and not even about maturity, but sometimes when what you're doing isn't super popping, it's almost like you can step back
And take a look
and
at it.
start looking at things.
So the lens changes.
The lens changes. You know, like when he first started being, we were aware of who he was like barely 19, 20. He was a teenager.
He was.
It's cold like Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, when
super young.
You know, when that song came out, and I don't, you know, I thought he must have had the best representation in the world because he took that song and all of a sudden he was in a Sprite commercial.
And he had his own pizza in Walmart.
Yeah. Then he had, you
He
know,
was a merch. I mean, he was a part of
was in
Nautica's
Target
design
commercials.
team. Target.
You know,
Yeah.
But, you know, he can look back on that era and see, be like, look, y'all may not like what I did,
Right.
but what I did wasn't what everybody else was doing. And that's fine. Because now you can look at it and be like, okay, this person is an imitation of this person, or we're just trying to drive. But we have always had that. There's when, like, the people who work at these executive positions in record companies, whichever ones are still left, like, they don't ever say, we're going to do something so crazy and so bold. We're going to change the world. No,
Right.
What they say is like, hey, you see how that worked over there? Let's do that. And we'll do our version of that. And hopefully it does maybe just a little bit better or close to it.
And we're going to do it over and over and over again.
Like everybody was
Until
at one
something else
point.
works.
Everybody once Run DMC hit, and there was that people stopped wearing dressing up like the Soul Sonic Force, and then everybody tried to do that.
What if I told you
At one point, everybody wanted to flip samples, soul samples when they heard what the blueprint was. Like remember when Jay-Z said trying to make the blueprint 2 before Hov? There are a couple albums that are basically, hey, did you like the blueprint? Look what we got over here. And one of the albums I really like. I'll just keep it real. AZ's Asiatic.
They came out what, 2 months, a month later?
All I know is I listened to that. I was like, okay, I feel like these are beats that could have been on the blueprint too.
Asiatic was fire.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I liked it so much.
Yeah.
But at one point, when everybody at one point they abandoned sampling, or at least such obvious sampling, then the blueprint 2 came out, and there was a change there. And you can look at almost any era of hip hop when people start wearing gold medallions. I mean, the black medallions instead of gold, and switched on to wearing more dashikis and trying to be all earthy and looking like a Tribe Called Quest on that first album. They kind of switched up once they got to the second one. Yeah, because that first album they was dressing really weird.
Boy, they was on their hobo.
Yeah,
100%. El Segundo,
big old floppy hats and stuff.
But people always follow trends. Like this has never been an industry when you talk about when people who are trying to hit certain metrics, they're not just in it for the creativity. It's always been an industry that is a copy and paste.
So Terry,
because it's safe.
Yeah,
Terry, if I told you that Lil Yachty saying this is going to hit different, to that you say what? Or is this just another comment that'll be blown in the wind? I'm talking different from Exhibit saying it, or one of the OGs saying it, because that's going to be sold as, the old rappers are complaining again. You can't use that argument when Yachty says
no, because Yachty's 26 and some of these rappers, 26.
That's what I'm saying. So does that hit different?
To whom?
That's what I was wondering. To who?
I'm just thinking the masses.
The only difference is that
I didn't
want
to say people. I didn't want to say people.
The only difference is that he's young and he's peers with these people that he's talking about.
Right.
But I mean, it's because he's taking chances, and he may be feeling himself a little bit more now too. Because I mean, he's done songs with J. Cole. Mm-hmm. He's helped Drake with his last album by being one of the producers in the room. Or
he got praise from Questlove.
Like, on his last album. So he's feeling himself more from an artistic point of view versus just somebody that's new to the game and wants to make records.
Just to have fun.
And be youthful and fun with it. Now he's kind of on his Tyler the Creator, because when Tyler the Creator first came out, he was more so wanting to have fun and I'm here, we here. You know what I'm saying? He evolved into the artist that he is today, and he talks the same thing pretty much about wanting to evolve and constantly get better. And he plays instruments and stuff for people that didn't even know. Gotcha. He does his own production too. Yeah. But I think it's just a matter of growth.
I'm just happy not that he's coming out and saying this. I'm just happy that he is growing. I feel like that's cool. It's cool. It's cool to see him grow as an artist and to make the attempt at his last project as he did. He wasn't safe with it. He tried something new. And I think he did a good job for what he was trying to do.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if it really hits,
quote unquote, hits
different. I mean, it's just kind of like what Jay says. I mean, everybody just tries to do what works. Mm-hmm. It goes back to the capitalism argument. So.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's why art fueled in capitalism is not good, because it's safe. It's just safe.
There's nothing daring about
There's
it.
nothing daring because
the safest artist out
because
there.
You can't.
Facts.
He is because you can't stray from what works. Otherwise, you might lose a little bit of money. Even if you have a bazillions of monies, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't lose the money. Monies. You can have all of them.
There's a lot.
If you lose a little bit of the monies, then
there's a lot at risk.
You want 9 bazillions, not 3.
Hey, 3 stacks. Flute album. Do we like it? Are we excited?
We don't know yet.
Do we believe it?
What do you mean?
I'm hearing
he posted it, right?
Yeah. Did he post it?
Yes, he did.
All right, fair enough. Then it's real. Then I thought I was being trolled. So
this is legit.
This is a real thing, and there's no bars on it. Now, the selfish fan in me, the Outkast fan in me, it ain't gonna change how I look at 3 stacks. But I'm not excited about it. And we all musical people, but I'm not excited about a Flute album because I want him to rap. And that's just me being a fan. I can honestly say it.
I'm going to partake.
I'm going to run it. I'm definitely going to run it.
To your point, I'm curious, and that's pretty much where it stops.
Okay.
at this point? I'm curious. It's Andre. I'm curious.
I am too.
But that's it.
He better get out there and be on his Roy Ayers on our ass.
Man,
Maybe.
if he do, I'll come back in here and I'll say I stand corrected.
I'm
but
curious what it's going to sound like.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I'm gonna run it, but I
The
guess,
Pied Piper of Atlanta.
bro.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants that.
Nah.
Pied Piper.
Well, I mean, not in the Kale sense.
Yeah.
No, we don't want that. I'm just looking at with Dre.
They had a really good algorithm, Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Dre's hiatus. You want it as a fan. You want to be like, man, he about to black out. We got a tease with the old Kanye record.
You get a tease every time
You
he
get
drop,
a tease
man.
every time he drop. Thank you. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, it ain't nothing to know, man. You're getting
really
the
is.
Andre 3000 album where he's playing the flute and he's sitting Indian style and rubbing his feet together and being real peaceful and light Nog Chopper. So that's just what you're gonna have to deal with.
I'm happy that he feels confident and
That's where I'm at with it too.
like that he feels
that
like
he
he
wants
can
to at least
put
release it.
something. Yeah. I'm happy.
Maybe this turns into his shield coming down a
Listen,
little bit.
I wouldn't dive too much into it now.
Just let it be.
I'm trying to find something.
I wouldn't do too much, man.
Let it
Just-
be. It's gonna be.
Just let it be what it's gonna
Gonna be
be.
Legend of Zelda: Call of the Wild out
Yeah.
here. We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, this is Nintendo power music, man. Come on.
Hey man, we still
Link
love.
then found this flute.
We-
And
we-
Andre decided to play it.
So it's gonna be my man 3 Stacks playing, the warp whistle. I
The
guess.
Opener of time.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
He's in a good place. I'm happy for you, brother. What's up?
So hold up. Is this the album that Killer Mike was talking about?
It might possibly
It
be.
can't be. It can't be.
It might be though.
Because he said they had a record that was like 8 minutes long. They was rapping. This can't be it.
Maybe he just took all the
He
rapping
took all the
off.
rapping off.
Come on,
said,
Lon,
"I'ma
don't do that.
He said, since he spoiled it, y'all just gonna get
Yeah, exactly.
instrumentals.
Y'all get the flute.
So you have me thinking. Now I'm going to listen to this thinking, is this the one that they rap for 8 minutes on?
Somebody said, like, really, honestly, they are on some Legend of Zelda stuff because Big Boy, is friends with a wise owl.
Oh, he did. I see that owl on his Instagram. Yeah, I see that owl on his Instagram. I didn't even see. Somebody texted me about this morning, and
Look at that flute, man. He's serious about that flute.
I
He
thought
be
that,
walking around in public playing that mug. It almost look like a didgeridoo with holes in it.
whoa. Let's take time out to give him his props for saying. Say it again.
A didgeridoo?
Say it,
You get props, Terry, for saying didgeridoo.
Why?
because I don't hear didgeridoo a lot.
Okay.
Good job, man.
He makes the noises that he makes. That's funny.
I didn't even see. Is there a track list for this thing?
No.
Nah, man, you gonna get what you gonna
Yeah,
get.
exactly.
Okay. All right.
He said he let Tyler the Creator hear it.
And let me guess. Tyler was like, "This is the best thing I've ever heard."
I don't
in
know.
America.
Tyler, if anybody gonna keep it real, it's gonna
It's
be
still
Tyler.
Be like, I don't get this whole project.
Yeah, this is ass.
But it's still Andre, so it's at least got that.
And he messed with Stax though. Like he's always spoken highly of Stax. Solo album is an 87-minute ode to the flute.
Hey man, that's crazy. You know what's funny
I need
is
some
Andre
Gregorian
is about
chants.
to have a whole lot of people listening to flute music on Friday.
I promise you, the numbers are gonna be crazy.
Hey,
The streams are gonna be crazy. I'll be one of them.
so what if this is
It's gonna sound like Lord of the
change?
Rings.
What if this is the shift in the culture that was needed?
I don't.
This flute album.
All of a sudden, like,
I don't think.
Major labels are pursuing flute
players, yeah,
players.
Man.
I gotta find a flute
Everything
player.
about
That,
to go full circle. We going back to the 70s.
Amber from Moonchild is gonna blow up.
she can
Man.
play the flute. Yeah. Man.
Lizzo ain't gonna be talking about eating snacks no more. She gonna
Right.
go full
Lizzo be
fledged flute.
fluting.
Yeah,
The record,
it's gonna be a 3 Stacks featuring Lizzo track with no vocals, just flute
all
playing.
flute. The record label's gonna be like, we gotta find a delusional person that can play the flute, that's polarizing, and plays the flute and has a big following
And
and
can't
plays the flute and can't
Yeah.
read. That's the next wave.
I don't think
Gotta
can't,
be able to
can't read
read.
wasn't on our list.
Was that on?
No,
Oh,
No, that's
sorry.
on my list. 'Cause
That's on Jay
if
Moore's
I was
list.
going to sign somebody, I want to make sure they can't read because
Well, there.
You want a Milli Vanilli? Huh?
No, I
Wow.
want to get all that publishing. It's like they couldn't read.
Why you throwing shots at them? That's the second
I'm
shot,
not,
bro.
man.
Second shot.
That's
bro.
not
But
really
you know
a
what?
shot,
Shout
though.
out to the song "Blame It on the Rain." That was a great song, regardless
was.
of who
Record
sang
was
it.
fire.
You got to blame it on something, man.
Not that one.
Looking out of my
They
window.
brought Diane Warren in for that. It's like, wait a minute,
I don't know Blame the Rain.
Two dudes.
Yes, you
it was
do.
like, okay, girl, you know it's true.
Uh-huh.
And then you go from that, and it was like, let's get Diane Warren,
Mm-hmm.
who had already been.
Yeah,
Her prices were probably up.
she said that she had already had something that sounded similar to Girl. She said,
Oh,
girl,
for
you
real?
know it's true. Blame it on the rain. She said it's kind of similar. It fit. Made it work.
How many records they got that you can name, Jay Moore?
3, 4.
Blame it on the rain.
Okay.
Don't forget my number.
Ba 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 baby.
See, girl, I'm gonna miss you.
Shouts to Wabash.
Yes.
So they had 4 records
That's
that I know.
such a deep cut inside joke.
Yeah, so they had 4 records I know, like just off the top of my head.
So what was it?
Girl, you know it's true.
Girl, you know
Blame it
it's
on the
true.
rain.
Uh-huh.
Don't forget my number.
Uh-huh.
And girl, I'm gonna miss you.
You got me on Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You. I'm asleep.
What band is this?
Millium Vanillium.
Million Vanillion, man.
Ah, okay. They didn't do I Can't Stand the Rain.
Stupid.
You ain't nothing, man.
No.
I'm dead serious. I don't know.
No, they didn't do
Who did that song?
Ann Peoples.
And Missy.
Ann Peoples?
Missy
Well, that
Elliott.
Missy sampled it from Ann
Yeah.
Peoples.
Oh, yeah.
Ann Peoples is
the... Looking out of my window.
Ann Peoples, if I'm not mistaken, is the sample for
No.
Is she the or
memory.
the Charmels? I'm sorry, it's the
Yeah.
Charmels. Never mind. The Charmels. I had to go back.
You want to play a game?
All right, Saul.
No, Jigsaw. I don't.
All right. Before we get out of here, let me try this.
All right.
What if I'm going to read some lyrics and I want to see who can guess the song first? We need a buzzer.
We don't have one.
Well, you're just going to have to yell really loud. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, yo, my whiz play the flute.
Ghostface. Bulletproof wallets. Oh, come on, Lone. I know the record.
I strolled through the forest like.
It's the trick. Oh, come on. It's the Forest.
There you go.
The Forest Ghostface. Yeah, y'all didn't think I was gonna get that.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have any.
Yeah, bulletproof wallets.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't
Hey, yo,
sway
my
either
whiz,
way.
whiz play the flute. I strolled through the forest like, peace, these trees, hello.
All right.
Yeah.
Flute
Yeah, I
playing.
did good there. That's
How
why-
does she play the flute?
Well-
Which pair of lips?
All right now.
She's got to put her mouth in a very specific type of way to get the airflow to come out.
Yeah.
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 All right, man. That'll do it for this episode. NewOldHeads.com for all the education you need this year. If you see it, like it, subscribe. We're on the chase to our 100,000 plaque on bringing down the band. Shout out to my man Lonegevity. That is his baby. But we're getting close. Like I said, if you see it, like it, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.